You know, why she do that? Why she, you know, you wish you could control your sister, don't you? If you could just sit on her and not let her get to the phone. Y'all be fighting on the phone. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that you don't have control over nobody else. Which means you don't have control over another person's action, which means that you should not take responsibility or hold in your emotion something that somebody else has done, because you had no control over it. But a lot of times we spend the better part of our day worried about what somebody else is doing, how they acting, what they should have said, why didn't they do this, why didn't they do that, when really it's wasted time and energy because you don't have no control over nobody else. The only thing you have control over is how you respond to what other people do. What's that saying, Lamont? Life is
10% of what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. A woman once told me, she said, you know what, Mac? Nobody really ever cares what has happened to you in your life. The only thing they care about is, what did you do about it, right? People don't really care. People too full of self, too self-absorbed, where they're going to spend a whole lot of time listening to your problem. Now, it's people like that in our lives, and we value, because you said your auntie, you can talk to her about anything, right? But you was able to identify your auntie because you know it's a lot of other people that don't care what you're talking about, right? She like, yeah, okay, don't use me as an example. But do you know what I mean? There's some people you can talk and talk and talk, and they're not listening to you. They're like, oh, right, whatever. And then as soon as you get off the phone with them, you picking up the phone, call, girl, this girl keep calling me, talking about this boy, or whatever, right? And so it's valuable to have those people in your life. But the gift for me was letting that situation go. I was able to grow from it at the age of 19. I was able to move on from it. It was a humbling experience, meaning it was a life-defining moment for me. It was a period in my life where I said, you know what, I could have died. Because we all know people who have made choices or decisions or been in a situation. Like, for instance, y'all heard about the Air France plane that disappeared a couple weeks ago. It was on the news. 228 passengers. It went off the radar. It just disappeared. Now, like 2 weeks later, they finding bodies, right, of this plane that crashed into the ocean. It was a woman that was supposed to be on that plane, right? It was on the news yesterday. It's just really interesting. It was a woman that was supposed to be on that plane. So obviously, when the plane crashed, she had missed the flight. Obviously, she felt a sense of, wow, you know, I could have been on that flight with those 228 passengers that died. She died in a car accident yesterday. You know, like people was calling me like, man, Final Destination, you know what I'm saying? Like she tried to escape death. You know, so we all have a date and a time that's assigned to us. We don't know when that date or time is. And so the importance of forgiveness is because, how many of you love your mother and your father? Every hand up, right? You don't know. How many of you love your brothers and your sisters? She like, you holding a grudge and you're not forgiving and you stay mad at people and they go out that front door in the morning, you don't know if they're returning or not, right? And you may have, because you was holding that grudge in your heart, knowing you love them, but you mad at them, you're going to prove something to them. This world is crazy out here, and all type of stuff is happening on a daily basis, and you never know if you're going to see that person again. My oldest sister, her and my mother wasn't speaking for the 3 weeks leading up to my mother having a stroke. And I know it still impacts her to this day because it was like, they mad at each other. You know what I'm saying? And I was okay with my mother passing because number one, she was a Christian. She was saved and had always lived a saved life and a Christian lifestyle. And so I was confident that she was in a better place, number one. Number two, me and her had a great relationship. I was there with her when she had the stroke. The one who called the ambulance was there, you know, taking care of her through that. But I was confident in knowing that she had lived her life. She had lived a God-filled life, and she had taught me as much as she could teach me, and it was her time. I didn't get mad at God and say, why'd you take my mother at this time? And so I still ain't bought her that house I promised her, all that. You know what I'm saying? So I have a peace about it, whereas my sister, who they was into it the last 3 weeks of my mother's life, because we don't forgive, we hold grudges, and we take things for granted. To this day, she's still struggling with the fact that she was on bad terms with her mother when she died. And I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody, because we don't, I mean, I ain't trying to scare y'all or nothing, like, you know, like when y'all leave here, you know, to be thinking about death or anything like that. But my main point of talking to you all today is to talk about, as young Christians, we gotta forgive. We gotta let stuff go. If you have people in your circle that's not healthy for you, it can be family. Sometimes you gotta get away from, like growing up, it was certain cousins I couldn't play with because they weren't healthy for me. My mother didn't allow me to play with them once we got to a certain age, and because adults can sometimes see things. You know, these were her sister's kids, but she felt like her sister wasn't raising her kids right. And these particular two cousins, right now, one is a drug addict, and the other one been in and out of jail. And so when my mother stopped me from spending time with them, it was probably at the right time, because maybe I might have ended up indulging in doing some of the things that they was doing. So you have to look at your circle of friends. Are they positive? Are they encouraging you? You know, are they motivating you to go to college and things of that nature? How many of you here feel they have a good circle of friends? Y'all don't have a good circle of friends? Or y'all don't have no friends?
I have friends, but they not.
Okay. How are your friends?
They decent.
They decent? Okay. How many leaders we got in here? Okay. Why do you consider yourself a leader?
I don't follow.
You don't follow. Okay, good answer. What about you?
Because I'm a good person.
You're a good person.
Very home.
I speak my mind.
You speak your mind. Okay. You consider yourself a leader?
Yeah. Because I don't like following people. They can follow me.
Oh, I heard that. She said they can follow me if they want to, like on Twitter. They can follow you on Twitter. What about you?
So sometimes I can consider myself a leader, because sometimes I could do something and not do the same thing that other person did, but sometimes I fall off track and need to start doing other things.
Okay, very honest, very good answer. Thank you. Young lady?
It's kind of the same thing she said, but sometimes I fall off a lot, but I get my head back.
Okay.
And they'll come and be like, well, what should I do?
Right.
And then I'll give them, you shouldn't do that, so tell them a little bit. So that's why I consider myself a leader.
Okay. Okay, Daniel? You a leader or follower?
Leader.
Why are you a leader? Okay, we'll come back to you. Think on that. Richard.
Well, people just follow me.
People just follow you? You must be the smile, huh? He better be a Ricky off Boys in the Hood. He said, oh, no, people just follow me. Go ahead.
I'm between.
You in between? You trying to figure out that leader-follower thing right now. You know, a good leader at one time followed. You know, so it's not always a bad thing to follow, because here at this church, as a part of this ministry, you do follow, but it's some people that you...
Forgiveness. It has to include forgiveness, without a shadow of a doubt. That's the only way that I was able to move forward. And I talked to MACK as we were leaving the radio station in Chicago, coming here. I realized that in my motivational speaking, because I do consider myself the greatest motivational speaker on earth. That's bold, ain't it? The greatest motivational speaker on earth.